Good piece here in the old Washington Post, Linnell. Our friend, Ika Javala, Emily Guskin, Scott Clement. We chronicled at the top of the show how much more popular the team is than they were just 2 years ago. It's basically twice as many people who responded to a similar poll a couple years ago now list the Local 53 as a team that they love or their favorite team or some derivation thereof. So again, twice as popular as they were before. Hard to measure that, but that's the closest we can get. You can feel the positive energy. Anecdotally, like my kids now aren't all in on watching the games, but instead of no and laughing at me, yeah, I'll sit down, I'll watch Jaden Daniels. Or yes, I kind of want a football bobblehead, or I want this jersey or whatever. You see it, kids wearing Washington gear going to school. You see teams in the Flag Football League. There are 3 different Commanders teams. Whole bunch of that stuff. The team is more popular than it was a couple of years ago. That's obvious, right?
For sure. So that's the number one thing that stood out to me. And it started, honestly, before the season started. Like during training camp, I remember I went out to a restaurant in my neighborhood called South House, and there were like 2 or 3 dudes wearing Jaden Daniel jerseys. This is before the mania started. Since then, Danny, I kid you not, I can't go anywhere without seeing the Washington logo, the new Washington logo. People aren't wearing their old Redskin stuff is what I'm noticing. You're seeing more of the new stuff.
So that leads me to this point. I didn't mean to cut you off, but it's a great transition to go right here. I get it.
Yeah.
And it's a trade I would make, by the way. Okay? Mm-hmm. I will, whatever I got to do for success, whatever I have to do for relevance, passion, the whole 9 yards. Here's the trade-off. The name. People like it now. It's not just the diehards who would swallow whatever pill they're given. It's not just the people that want to pretend that they're best friends with the defensive tackle or write stupid songs that people play, and we're not sure if it's a joke or not. It's not just that. The name itself has grown on folks. 34% in 2024. Over 50% now. In fact, 62%. Again, twice as popular, just over a year.
Does that surprise you?
Yes.
How, Danny, but that's been my whole thing with you on the name debate. I feel like, and clearly, the NFC Championship game wasn't good enough for you. I think it'll grow on you too. I think if this turns into a sustained winning culture, and they're not that yet. I know they're showing all the signs of it. They had a really good year. They have a franchise court. They're not that yet. If they become a perennial playoff team year in, year out, you're not going to hear a peep about the name. I'll even make this bold proclamation. If, God forbid, Jaden Daniels dislocates his ankle next year and they go 4-13, I think rumblings about the name will come up again. I think it will be a topic that is,
it just correlates with if they're good or not for a while.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you are a young person.
Mm-hmm.
Here is the analogy that I try to draw, or the parallel I try to draw. The Bullets should never have changed their name. Now, this is different. I understand what happened with the football team. I'm not trying to slam the gavel on that opinion. We have discussed that before. You may be aware. But the Bullets name should never have changed. It's stupid, okay? The Wizards suck. That's a sucky name. It's a stupid, dumb name. It was dumb in 1997. It was dumb in 98. It's dumb in 2025. It'll be dumb in another 25 years. I got tired of fighting.
Okay.
My point is, it's never grown on me once, ever. Now, when John Wall stood on the scorer's table because he beat Boston with that 3 at the buzzer, I went nuts too.
Yeah.
When Gill hit that shot in Chicago after that son of a bitch Shanero Pargo couldn't miss for a minute and a half, I went nuts. I celebrated. The name sucked. It shouldn't be the name of the team. You follow me?
Yes.
My point is, there's event. I'm not fighting anymore. And now there's no fighting here. The day, I think the gavel slammed, by the way. Just because I don't fight it doesn't mean I like it.
Right.
I'm accepting my reality. I live in a world where the name is terrible.
Yes.
And it's going to stay that way. I understand that. And I would trade it again. I would do it again. I would do another 2-2-22. But we are the Commanders. And have that be the thing in exchange for NFC title game appearances. I would do that for Jaden Daniels.
Of course.
And that's kind of the point here. I could spin 2 plates. That name ain't going anywhere.
Yeah.
And I hate it. I hate it more now than I did then. It's not going to grow on me. It's not going to be something that I like. I will accept my fate, but never, ever, ever expect me to like it.
So let me ask you this about the name, and now I feel like you've like entered my like therapy couch, and I'm trying to help you through your issue that you have with this
sure,
name.
yeah.
To me, what about the name? Is it the name that's bad to you, Danny, or is it the branding surrounding the name? Because I think there's no issue with Commanders.
Sure, there is. The answer is it was a generic attempt by Dan Snyder to hide under the blanket of military because nobody could say anything bad about that.
Right.
And I'm just going to leave it at that. It's not well thought out. It wasn't planned. It wasn't done very well. The guys that did it are gone, right? The first guy that did it called it one of the most successful rebrands ever, and he went on to work for some soccer team in L.A., Missile Brooks or Middle Brooks or whatever the hell the guy's name was. And Jason Wright, who I like personally, was very kind to us always, but you hire a slick consultant. You know who shows up? A slick consultant. That's who he is. He's a slick consultant who's good at activations and branding and this. They still think internally that 2222 was awesome because you got Craig Melvin going, ha ha.
You do a really good Craig Melvin.
Damn right I do. I've heard that ha ha a million times, and I'll never unhear it.
Yeah.
They didn't understand what they didn't understand. Everything from Sean Taylor installations to porta potty pictures to the nonsense of that era and time. That name is that. That name is Dan Snyder still trying to wrestle control of the organization back from the NFL. He's the guy standing there on 2222.
In his Timberlands.
We're very excited about the name, and we're very excited about just evil.
Yeah.
Just a little twerp up there ruining everything. I hear that name, I see him. I hear that name, I hear ineptitude. I hear a joke. I hear a pathetic, ridiculous, doesn't belong with the rest of the NFL franchise's name. Now, and the point here, and they get quotes, and again, this is a great story.
Mm-hmm.
The name now means something new, or they're trying to make it mean something new.
Correct.
Right? Radden Peters will talk about a commander tag. And Josh Harris, in one of his statements, said, we have when the name means something now to us, an organization, and a lot of our fans. I get it. I understand that.
You're going to awkwardly sip your water?
Should we shake hands? Hold on. So I understand. I get it. I get the full thing. I'm not going to like it.
So I think, and I haven't gone and dived into the article as deep as you have to this point because I'm having issues with this paywall, and it's just here nor there. But I think to your point, like the name to some people, a lot of people feel the way you feel. They feel like it's the last odor and stench of Dan Snyder and the 20 plus years of ineptitude. But when Jaden Daniels comes out in year 2 of the name, right? That's where we're in year 3 of the name, and leads this franchise to the NFC Championship game, and you've now got ownership, GM, head coach, all on the same page for the first time. Yeah, the meaning is going to change. You're going to think differently of it. If they would have won under the Washington, or excuse me, in year 1 of Commanders, I don't think there would be as much outrage. I think because year 1 of Commanders stunk, and there was that blemish where Ron didn't know whether or not they could be eliminated.
Well, it can be eliminated? Okay.
Yeah.
We really can be. Okay. We will be.
I think if they would have won that year, the vitriol and the anger wouldn't be as strong.
Among football fans, Washington football fans, in 2024, 58% said that they did not like it. So it's a combination of a certain percentage hated it, a certain percentage didn't like it. Think about that. Almost 60%.
It's a big amount
of this stupid, dumb brand. Now, among that same group of fans, 62% like it. Think about that turnaround. Again, almost twice as many.
It just goes to show you how important winning is to your brand.
And here's what drives me nuts. And yes, obviously. Here's what drives me nuts. All those years, we'd have conversations about anything. Anything. How do they make the stadium experience better? How can they make parking better? How can they make season ticket experience better? How can they improve? How can they improve business stuff, controllable things, getting in and out? What can they do business-wise, marketing-wise? How can they make you feel more important as a fan? Name-wise, what should they do? How should they do it? And you'd get that guy that thought he solved it. The genius who'd go, the only thing that matters is that they win. And it's the least productive call. And you think you're being so smart and astute. Like, I've cut to the... Yes, I understand they need to try to win football games. Sometimes the ball doesn't bounce the right way off the upright. We're talking about the hundreds of people they have in their employ that are in the customer relations experience. if that wasn't necessary, you don't have any season ticket salespeople.
Yeah,
you don't have to do anything. You'll just win, and then they'll just call Dan Quinn. He'll be like, hey, let it rip, brother. I'll still get you season tickets in row one. Of course, they have staff.
Yeah.
But people couldn't separate it. And so, of course, ultimately, you're right. You win, it cures a lot of crap. No one cares that it's the worst stadium in sports when the team is winning. You care a little bit, but you don't care near as much. I understand all that. So we're talking about the controllables. Some years you do, some years you don't. And we're talking about this at the top, too. Can they withstand a couple of valleys and bad years? I don't know that they can yet. But it's a great building block to have year one happen. So the point is, I think for me, and I want your opinion here, too, we know the ship has sailed on the name. Josh Harris kind of hinted as much and said as much, and a few others have as well. This data, jaw-dropping to me. Yeah. Not only acceptance, people like me that have accepted their fate, but now like it? They like it? That is still hard for me to swallow.
It doesn't stun me that much because when you think about the state of the franchise over the span of the 2000s, like we're a loyal fan base and we're a fair weather fan base at the same time. I know I'm contradicting myself, but like people were itching for something to grasp onto. And now you can, lean into the name, lean into the logo and the brand because they're winning. It's easier to do. I get it. And it's like, it's something that you can be a part of. It feels inclusive. It's cool. I think the people that they have over there in business now doing the activations and making the game day experience better, they're doing a kick-ass job. They are, and they deserve all their credit. But guess what, Danny? You know it, and I know it. Their job is much easier. No one cares about paying for the $21 bottle of water as much when you're going to watch a winning product. And I'm not trying to simplify the conversation and act like winning cures everything, but it's a massive part of it. It is. It's a lot easier, right, to sell jerseys for the Commanders right now than it is for the Wizards.
Right.
Why? Because the Commanders win.
Right. I don't know exactly the question that I want to ask. I know what's on my mind. So I'll do it this way. 800-636-1067. As somebody that I literally try not to say it because it boils my blood.
Say what?
Okay, the name of the team.
What team?
And the Local 53. And what people mistake me for is I only want the old name. That's not me.
Right.
I understand. Whether you agree or not, that's not, we've legislated that. That's done as far as I'm concerned, okay? I'm not the old name or nothing. I'm not that person. I can't get rid of the association with the buffoonery and the amateur hour and the below the acceptable line of the time. I can't escape the investigations, the impropriety, the indignity, the absurdity of that organization during that time frame when they were caught with their pantaloons down, had no alternative, so they threw together this nonsense with a bunch of guys that everyone knew weren't going to be here for longer than an hour and a half. Ron Rivera was involved in the name change. that boob, that overmatched goofball, that soundbite cliche spewing media friend is sitting there deciding what I'm going to be stuck with for the rest of my life. F space U space. No.
Yeah.
No. Stupid consultants with no dog in the fight. I'm stuck with it. They left this turn in the punch bowl and are waving goodbye. Goodbye, fairly well. Bon voyage as their train leaves the station. I can't escape how much I hate it. I hate it more now than I did then. And I think I do because people like it.
So you're irritated, turned off by that? I get
so
it, though.
upset.
I get it.